Ever wonder why your manifestations keep failing despite doing everything right? The uncomfortable truth is that 90% of people trying to manifest are unknowingly sabotaging themselves. What they don't realize is that their shadow self is working against them every single day. And until you integrate this hidden part of yourself, your manifestations will continue to crumble before your eyes. I'm speaking to you today not just as someone who studied these principles for years, but as someone who's witnessed countless individuals transform their lives once they understood this missing piece. If you've been struggling with manifestation, if your desires feel just out of reach, or if you keep repeating the same patterns despite your best efforts, this conversation might be the breakthrough you've been searching for. Let me share something profound with you. The ancient Hermetic principle, as above, so below, doesn't just apply to the cosmos and Earth. It applies to your conscious mind and your shadow self. Whatever exists in your upper consciousness has a corresponding element in your shadow, and until these two aspects align, you're essentially trying to manifest with half your power. Think of it this way. Imagine you're driving a car where the steering wheel wants to go left, but the engine is pulling right. That internal conflict is exactly what happens when your conscious desires clash with your unconscious programming. Your shadow holds all the suppressed emotions, limiting beliefs, and unhealed wounds that you've pushed away because they felt too uncomfortable to face. Here's where most people get it wrong. They think positive thinking and visualization alone will override years of unconscious conditioning. But your shadow doesn't disappear just because you ignore it. Instead, it becomes the invisible force that sabotages your manifestations from within. Let me explain how this shows up in real life. You might consciously desire financial abundance, but your shadow holds deep shame around money from childhood messages about wealthy people being greedy. You visualize success daily, but your unconscious mind associates success with losing love and connection. These conflicting energies create what I call manifestation static, where your desires get scrambled before they can take form. The Hermetic principle of polarity teaches us that everything has its opposite, and both sides exist within us simultaneously. Light and shadow, love and fear, abundance and scarcity. Shadow work isn't about eliminating the darkness within you. It's about acknowledging it, understanding it, and ultimately integrating it so that all parts of yourself work in harmony towards your goals. When you reject parts of yourself, you're literally rejecting your wholeness. And manifestation requires wholeness. It requires you to show up as a complete person, not a fragmented version hiding from uncomfortable truths. Your shadow contains not just your wounds, but also tremendous power that's been locked away. I've worked with people who discovered that their fear of success actually stemmed from a shadow belief that they didn't deserve good things. Others found that their struggle with relationships was rooted in shadow anger they'd never allowed themselves to feel. Once they integrated these aspects through shadow work, their manifestations began flowing with an ease that surprised them. The process starts with radical honesty. You need to examine the patterns in your life without judgment. What keeps showing up repeatedly? What triggers you most about other people? These external reflections often point directly to your shadow material. The things that irritate you and others frequently represent disowned parts of yourself. Here's a powerful exercise to try. Think about your biggest manifestation goal right now. Now ask yourself these questions with complete honesty. What would achieving this goal cost you? What would you have to give up? What kind of person would you have to become? Often, your shadow holds beliefs that achieving your desires would somehow diminish you or separate you from others. Shadow work in the context of manifestation means bringing these unconscious conflicts into conscious awareness. It means feeling the emotions you've been avoiding. It means questioning the stories you've told yourself about who you are and what you deserve. This isn't about wallowing in darkness, but about reclaiming the energy you've spent keeping parts of yourself hidden. The Hermetic principle of rhythm teaches us that everything moves in cycles, including our internal processes. There will be times when shadow material surfaces naturally, and these moments are opportunities for integration rather than obstacles to overcome. Your manifestations will actually accelerate when you stop fighting these natural rhythms and learn to work with them. One of the most profound shifts happens when you realize that your shadow isn't your enemy. It's the guardian of your authentic power. Those parts of yourself you've rejected often contain the very qualities you need to manifest your desires successfully. Your shadow anger might contain the assertiveness you need to set boundaries. Your shadow selfishness might hold the self-care you need to sustain your success. Integration happens through compassionate witnessing. When shadow aspects arise, instead of pushing them away, you acknowledge them with curiosity. You might say, "I notice I'm feeling jealous of this person's success. What does this jealousy want me to understand about my own desires?" This approach transforms shadow material from an obstacle into valuable information. The mental and emotional preparation for manifestation must include shadow work, because your unconscious mind is always listening. It's recording every suppressed emotion, every rejected aspect, every disowned quality. Until you heal the split between your conscious desires and unconscious programming, you'll continue experiencing internal resistance that shows up as external obstacles. As we conclude, I want you to understand that shadow work isn't a one-time event. It's an ongoing relationship with the totality of who you are. The Hermetic principles teach us that true transformation happens through integration, not elimination. Your shadow will always exist, but it can become your ally instead of your saboteur. Starting today, begin noticing what triggers you. Pay attention to the patterns that repeat in your life. These are your shadow's way of communicating with you. Approach this work with gentleness and patience. Remember, you're not trying to become perfect. You're trying to become whole. Your manifestations are waiting for the real you to show up, shadows and all. When you integrate these hidden aspects, you'll discover a level of creative power you never knew you possessed. Want more insights on manifestation and mindfulness? Check out my other videos, like the one on screen, and keep aligning for a better you.